Hi everyone, and welcome back to my Blender tutorial series where I create Sly Cooper in 3D. In this episode we are going to rig and animate our character. To build a skeleton for our character we have two options. We can either create each bone manually or use the built-in Rigify add-on which automatically generates a human rig. In our case, I am adding a pre-made skeleton. To do that, I press Shift plus A and go to Armature, Basic and select Basic Human. Once the skeleton appears in the scene, I scale it to match the size of our character model. Next, in the Object Data Properties tab, under Viewport Display, I check the In Front option. This makes the bones always visible in front of the mesh. After scaling, I switch to Edit mode to manually adjust the bones and match them to the character's proportions. The bones are now aligned, but we still need to add some extra bones for the tail, so we can animate it too. To do that, I click Add Sample, which add additional bones we will use for the tail. With the skeleton complete, I go back to Object mode, select the armature and click Generate Rig. Once the rig is generated, I can hide the original bone layer to keep the scene cleaner. Now I select the objects in the correct order. First the model, then the rig, and press Ctrl plus P. From the menu, I choose with automatic waves to bind the mesh to the rig. Now, when I switch to pose mode, I can start changing the pose of our character. Let's move on the animation. I switch to the animation workspace, and when the timeline appears at the bottom, I change it to Action Editor. Now I select the entire rig and use Insert Keyframe to record the position of every bone. I rename the animation to T and click Stash to save it in a kind of library, so we can come back to it later and create more animations. Now I click New to add another animation. I name this one Walk because I'm going to create a walk cycle for the character. Before we start animating, I would like to quickly go over what a walk cycle looks like. This image shows 5 key poses that make up a basic walk cycle. Contact. One foot touches the ground in front while the other is lifting off behind. Down. The body lowers as it shifts weight onto the front foot. Passing position. The back foot passes the front one and the body is at its midpoint. Up. The body rises slightly as the back leg prepares for the next step. Contact again. The opposite foot touches the ground, starting the cycle over. These poses help give the animation a natural rhythm and feel. For our animation, I'm keeping things very simple and stylized. Instead of animating every detail, I will focus mostly on the contact and passing position, which is enough to create a clear and good looking walk that fits our low poly character. To start, I pose the character in the contact position. Once the pose is ready, I insert the first keyframe. Then I copy the pose and paste in the future down the timeline, but mirror it to create the opposite contact position. To make the animation look properly, I copy the first pose again and paste it at the end of the timeline. When I play the animation now, you will notice that the character slides a bit. To fix that, I add a passing position in between, which makes the animation feel much more natural. And that's the full process of creating a walk animation. For me, this is always the hardest part of building a character. In this video, we only create a walk animation, but you can use the same method to add other animations later. Alright, our Sly Cooper model is now animated. This is the final episode in the series of creating a low-poly Sly Cooper character in Blender. If you enjoyed this video, feel free to like, subscribe and leave a comment below. Thanks for watching and see you in the next series.